Howdy everybody, this is Outdoor Talk. Today we're here at Bull Creek and we're here with my buddy Jordan again. This is actually the second take because I messed up on the first, life lessons. But Jordan is a neurofeedback technician who is hopefully going to explain to us what neurofeedback actually does to assist with mental health today.
Do it if you want to avoid the road.
I'm good with being down by the creek anyways. So realistically, we hit the wrong way the first time.
Right? By going right instead of left. It's all good.
As my mom's always said, you're just on an adventure.
Oh my gosh.
So, sweetest woman in the world, second to my grandmother. Anytime she would get lost driving us somewhere, you don't want to spend more time with me? We're just on an adventure. And it was one of those, I was like, oh, you can't say no to that to your mom.
Yeah. Whenever I'm out of state and talking to somebody about Texas, you know, how some places have a grid system and Texas is just all over the place. I'll tell them sometimes in Texas, you got to go left to go right, man.
It's true. There really is a lot to be said about we're on an adventure.
Yep.
And if you can kind of just gear your brain around that, you'll have fun.
Yeah.
What were some of your favorite hikes, man? Did you ever go hiking?
A little bit here and there. I've been to a bunch of places around here, but the problem is it was so long ago, and that was, I think it's, I don't know if it's Johnson City or not, but although simple, I do like the Brushy Creek Trail.
It's been a classic for years, hasn't it?
Yeah, Brushy Creek Trail is cool. Even though it's mostly paved, Town Lake, just because of the scenery and the Stevie Ray Vaughan statue.
Oh man.
And then
I need to check that out sometime.
Geez, what else? Oh, you know what? There's a nice trail over in Spicewood Springs. Fairly simple. There is a dead end, but it's a good like 30 minute adventure. Yeah.
Could you explain your job title to everybody?
Oh, you talking about neurofeedback tech?
Neurofeedback tech, yes. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, man. So basically, if I could put it short and sweet, I'm putting sensors on people's heads and performing lobotomies. No, I'm just playing.
I love it.
No, but so what we do is we do use sensors, but the science behind it, as much as I understand of it, at least, I'm not an expert. What we're doing is we're able to show people how their brain is working. They're able to adjust or correct eating behavior that is too far in either end of the, I can't remember the name of it. You've got hyperarousal on one end, your fight or flight, go, 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 when's the other shoe gonna drop kind of feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And then that opposite end, the hypoarousal, I believe. That's where you see your depression, that I don't want to get out of bed today kind of numb feeling.
Okay.
What we're doing, we get a lot of patients that unfortunately live lives at one or both ends of the spectrum on a regular basis. Where I come in is I'm attempting to assist that patient with getting back to the happy medium.
Yeah.
And the other cool thing about it is we don't want to take away their ability to reach either of those extremes, but when appropriate, right?
Yes.
Somebody's trying to merge into you in traffic. You see a snake while you're out on a hike. You can get to that
Fight or flight
hyperarousal
motion
quick because it's a safety thing, right?
It's a safety, yeah.
You're not living there. You're not spending days and weeks there stressed out about it. Hopefully, after X amount of sessions of neurofeedback, you're able to go through the stressful situations, react accordingly, but then stabilize a little bit quicker than before. We do primarily stabilizing. Now there's other places, there's other forms of neurofeedback where the tech is that much greater. They've got brain mapping, they can see you for longer periods of time, basically taking your brain to the mechanic. But we're kind of short term. We're combining neuro with med management, therapy, group therapy, or yoga,
Oh, okay.
holistic type
So y'all
stuff.
are all trying. Your group is really working on, like you said, holistic.
Yeah,
remedies.
let's get you restabilized so you can go back to work, go back to living your life, but in a healthier way. It's really cool. The process, it's tricky to explain. Like I said, we're putting sensors on patients' heads, basically just monitoring their brain activity, seeing any kind of patterns or changes. We're kind of reading that flow, that natural flow of electricity that's inside of this supercomputer that's conducting our meat suits.
I love the way you phrase that shit, man.
So
great.
to them, it looks like, oh, okay, this guy is putting some sticky stuff on my head, and we're watching Bob Ross or playing a video game, Magic School Bus, whatever. And at the end of it, I either feel really tired or I feel like I'm on top of the world.
Okay.
So there's a lot that goes into it. Long story short, what I'm doing is just helping to restabilize the nervous system.
Okay.
That's all.
What's some of the training you have to go through to?
It wasn't, I mean, looking in hindsight, it was not that much, to be honest. They had me observe like a week's worth of material, history, some kind of learned information over the years and how they got to where they are now as far as settings and whatnot. Obviously, there was some time spent learning about the products that we use, how to apply them.
Oh, of course.
How to operate the computer software. But besides that, it was one of the easiest trainings I think I've done.
Really?
It was, I mean, coming from restaurants at least, I used to freak out about having to memorize a menu. That was my worst, my.
That being said, some of the restaurants we've worked at had crazy menus.
Yeah, training was cool. I was basically in my office for about a week and a half, and then the company flew out. One of our leads assist me with getting started.
Yeah.
Starting to see my peeps. After that, it's just repetition, making mistakes.
Learning through the process, man.
Weekly staffings to kind of touch base, observations, just to make sure that, you know, I'm making the right calls, and then it's just repeating after that.
So, say I was your patient, it's my first day. What's my first day gonna look like with you?
We're gonna be getting to know your brain and what it's hungry for. We're gonna try our best to figure out if your brain is looking for more calming or more stability or some kind of mixture of the two. We're gonna talk about some big things that are like, not red flags, but things to be considerate of when doing neurofeedback. Not everybody can just hop in the chair and do a 30-minute session.
Why is that?
There's certain criteria that will dictate how much time you actually are in the chair looking at the screen. If we've got somebody with, say they've got extensive brain damage, concussions, if they've had seizures, strokes, even things as simple as headaches and migraines dictate how long we're looking at the screen for, because we want to definitely acknowledge that history is there, but we also don't want to trigger any of those things.
Yeah.
So our initial visit is more like an eval, just getting to know you, and then trying to see what could come up. This definitely gives us, it's like a roadmap.
Okay.
It's kind of letting us know, okay, this is where we need to put the sensors. This is how much time we should probably have you looking at the screen so we can avoid any sort of unwanted circumstances, headaches, panic attacks, things like that.
Do the amount of sessions vary between person to person?
Oh yeah, definitely. Now, I don't know, we don't have like a set, this person needs to do X amount of sessions, but it's all determined by how long they're enrolled, how many sessions they actually attend, and then their willingness to continue and participate.
Gotcha.
I've had some people that have done 20s, almost 30 sessions. I've had some people that have done like 3 or 4 and they're like, no, this isn't for me. Which is cool. Like we're not gonna force anybody to do.
No, that's the thing with therapy in general. People don't realize you have to decide to make a change.
Yeah, you gotta want it.
And if you don't want that, you don't have to do it.
Thanks for letting me know.
No one can force you into doing something like that.
Yeah.
Is this a similar job to what you did before at your...
There's parts of it that are similar to the telehealth that I did, interacting with patients, following, state guidelines, crisis management, things like that. As far as like the hands-on work, the only time I really use my phone is to text people about appointment reminders.
Gotcha.
I'm not talking on the phone. I'm also not facilitating groups. I'm not providing therapeutic services. I'm kind of referring out for that. If anything comes up, my first line of defense is, hey, go talk to your therapist. Yeah, or you should maybe try talking to your therapist because that's what they're here for.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
They're here to help.
Well, let's have someone more qualified.
Yeah, and I always let them know that too. I'm not paid or qualified to give you any sort of advice. Do you think it's legal to camp out here?
I don't know, but that's something great that we could ask my viewers. So if anyone knows, we're in the city of Austin, can you camp at these different trails that you've seen me doing? Now, I know some of the parks, state and national parks, those you can definitely camp at. Yeah. I don't know if you could camp out here though.
Because I could totally see spending like a night out here.
Oh yeah.
Posting up with a little tent and like a portable stove so you don't have to worry about lighting a fire. Your marshmallows and like a skewer, having your little Bluetooth speaker even, some bug spray, maybe a flashlight.
No, I completely agree.
And kind of enjoying the outdoors, especially at a kind of flat area like this. You bring enough cushion, dude, set.
Have you seen those new ones they have that you can, it's a roll mat, but you air it up. You can blow it up just with like the nozzle and everything else.
Like a sleeping bag?
It's a pad for underneath, but it gets so small and tight, you can throw it inside your sleeping bag.
Oh, that's cool.
So that way you could throw it on the bottom of it and then put your sleeping bag on top of that.
Nice.
It's very nice. It's just, added cushion for the ground.
Yeah. So you don't have to rough it as hard. Some creature comforts.
So what's difference between that and EMDR?
I couldn't tell you textbook, but I know that it involves a completely different set of like machinery, like devices. From what I've observed, EMDR is more like therapist led. You're talking through certain scenarios. I know there's something called like anchor points in like safe, calm place, and they kind of walk you through whatever trauma it is that you've experienced, but that's the extent of what I've heard about it.
Okay.
But yeah, we do that too. High demand for it. I hear it's really helpful.
If you need it, it's immensely helpful.
I've heard a lot of that from, just watching people throughout life, your CEOs, your execs, your directors, like leads, people that have to manage a lot of bodies. they talk about being in that constant state of go, go, go. And it gets to a point where you burn out.
Does insurance cover neurofeedback?
That one I would have to defer to each individual insurance agency.
Yeah.
I don't think they do. There could be some that do. At least with my company, insurance is covering the overall stay, and so we're ancillary service.
Okay.
But let's say somebody just wants to do neurofeedback, they've got to pay out of pocket. They've got to do either by the session or a package deal.
Oh, okay. Roughly how much does that normally cost? At least at your agency, how about that?
Last I checked, I think we were around $150 per session mark, and then a package, I think it's somewhere around $1,000. I want to say maybe 12 sessions.
Okay. In all honesty, that's not that unreasonable whatsoever.
Yeah.
Not with the kind of equipment, training, and everything else y'all have to have.
Yeah,
Because the simple
equipment
fact is the equipment is immense.
Yeah, equipment itself alone, 10, 15 grand. And just looking at it, like, you wouldn't think, you know, it looks like a laptop, teddy bear with a wire hanging out of it, but
Isn't there someone else who goes over y'all's work? A physician or something along those lines too?
Yes and no. We have our leads who obviously they train us up, and we've got our training wheels on for a few months after we start seeing patients. But after a while, it's kind of like we all just meet and talk about possible scenarios, hypothesize, rely on previous experience with similar cases, what has worked in the past, what might work for this situation. We've only got a couple techs per location. Some locations only have one person. We're all pretty spread out. I think Texas is the only state that has 3 of our same company in it. That's after Arizona, which is where the original location started. They've got a couple different centers out there, but the rest of them, I'm pretty sure the other states, it's just like one location.
So is there an age range for neurofeedback?
To be honest, I don't even know. I've experienced people doing it as young as 19 to someone well off into their 80s. I've experienced a wide range. It's surprising how many things you would think that neuro wouldn't be great for, but it turns out that it's actually helped that situation.
How do you track a client's progress? Because I presume there's a beginning and end to this. It's not meant to be, you need this the rest of your life.
Once you get to a certain point, your brain is kind of wired itself to operate at that certain level for an extended period of time.
Or at least resets.
Right. As far as tracking progress goes, we rely on both verbal and paper feedback. Obviously, we're watching the patients as they're in the chair during the session, checking in with them, seeing how they're experiencing it. But then we also have a 24-hour type check-in where they spend the next day with themselves, sleep and everything, operating through their life as they would. And at the end of that 24-hour period, we just simply ask them, hey, let me know how you feel on this sheet right here. That's going to let me know what kind of changes I need to do on the software for your next appointment.
What changes can y'all make? I'll rephrase it that way.
We can switch where we're placing the sensors. Most of the time what we do is we'll adjust the frequencies. We work a lot with frequencies. If you want to swap out the word frequency with brainwave, we're just adjusting that to what the patient is viewing.
Okay.
So what we typically do is adjust the frequency little by little unless something major comes up. If it's something on the negative side, we'll make a bigger adjustment. If they're feeling like they're on top of the world, we'll make a very minor adjustment just to kind of fine tune it, almost like a radio station.
Oh, okay,
And
that's
then
cool.
Once we get to that perfect point, we'll consider them optimized. We'll start talking about additional goals that they're trying to meet, anything else that they're working on, and potentially adding in or moving those sensors around during the session just to make things that much better for them.
That's awesome.
You've had a pretty broad spectrum of jobs, like many of us in the world nowadays.
Oh, I've lived many different lives, yes.
Which is, it's great. I think it's awesome, at least. What are some pros of this job that you really enjoy?
I think the first one is that this is the first job I've had that doesn't feel like a job.
That's cool.
I didn't really understand that something like that could exist. I mean, of course, you get people who go into business for themselves and they're doing what they love. When I first walked in, I was expecting regular, 9 to 5, clock in, clock out. After being there, really almost after the first month or so is when I realized it. I was like, dude, we have a lot of fun at work and we're still getting things done. We're helping people, we're making an impact on the community. That I would say is the first pro. Some additional ones, you actually feel the impact that you're having on people. It's a little different than waiting on tables and you're simply just giving hungry people food. With neurofeedback, you're able to see in most cases these people show up differently in their lives. Sometimes they don't really know what's going on, they can't really describe it, but they just know that they feel better or they feel lighter. That means so much, especially with everything that's being thrown at them every day, all of us really.
Oh yeah.
Whether it be, news, social media, politics, social circles, you name it. We're taking in so much information on a daily basis. It affects people differently. That's pretty cool. The coworkers, I gotta say, A1.
Nice. That's always good whenever you have some awesome coworkers.
Directors, they know how to lead a team. We feel like we're listened to, like we're validated. And the cool thing about it being mental health, that knowledge of, hey, we're all dealing with something. If you're going through something, you take care of yourself. Take time for yourself, show up for yourself. Versus other places, they're like, hey, suck it up. We got quotas to meet.
Yes.
Or, hey, this food's getting cold. I don't care what you're going through right now.
Yeah, that's actually a very valid point.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool perks to it. Now, cons, I mean, I don't know, dealing with rush hour traffic.
If that's your biggest con, I think you're doing pretty good, my man.
Just dealing with rush hour traffic.
Can you share one of your favorite childhood memories?
Childhood.
Now, childhood could be anything from 18 and under, which is not really childhood, but just to give you a good spectrum.
Man, I would say one of my favorites is getting my learner's permit, going to driving school, and then getting my license.
What made all of that such a positive memory?
I had been wanting to drive since I knew what cars were. There were a couple of times where Grandpa would let me sit in his lap and act like I was steering the car, to the time one of my aunts taught me how to operate a manual transmission. That was pretty much like my focus. All the Fast and Furious movies came out, video games, Need for Speed.
I do forget how much of a car guy you are.
Gran Turismo, all that stuff came out. Man, kid in the candy store.
Love that.
But yeah, I'd have to say that's probably favorite. I don't know, maybe skateboarding.
Okay.
That was a nice, liberating feeling. Trying to get good at something and succeeding. There's people out there in the world that jump down shit like this on their skateboards.
I did not.
Yeah, dude. It's insane to think about. And they're landing shit.
They're landing?
They're landing.
You understood when you said that. I just thought America's
no.
Funniest Home Videos.
Nah, man.
And you're talking about people who are skilled.
They're landing shit. There's this high school out in California with a stair set, I think about this big, if not maybe starting from that lower rock. But there's people doing flips down it. There's a big rail that people will grind all the way down. You got BMXers jumping the whole thing.
That's crazy.
It's wild, man.
And here, me and Natalie, 5 years ago, were walking up to a cliff, and it's like the Devil's Backbone and Lakeway or something like that. And we both looked, nah, we good. I'm gonna go down to the lower one to jump in the water.
Ooh-wee.
Does this job kind of make you feel like that's something you've been doing right now with your life? Where you're learning something, you're succeeding, and it's a little liberating.
Most
to just
days,
feel...
yeah, actually, now that I put the 2 and 2 together, it feels really good to... Where I notice it the most is when I have staffing meetings with our lead technicians who have been doing this for a while. I come to them with questions and then like what I would do in certain situations, and they're like, yeah, I can totally see why you would want to do that. You should try it. I would actually go with that. Heat just in case you need it, so you can have it in your pocket.
Nice.
That
sounds like your team's pretty supportive too.
Yeah, that's very that builds confidence for sure. Knowing that I've been doing this so long that I can now start to pick up on what to and what not to do. If they're ever struggling, you can easily throw in your 2 cents and be like, hey, try this. You know, I had somebody with the same set of conditions, and we tried this, and it ended up working out perfect for them.
Thanks everybody for coming and joining me and Jordan today on our hike in Bull Creek. And as a special thanks, Jordan, got anything you want to say to anybody?
Believe in yourself, be kind to yourself, get outside, drink water, do something nice for somebody. Appreciate what you got.
I can't say anything better than that. Thanks again for coming out, bud. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Ain't no thing but a chicken wing, bro.
Y'all have a great day.